I think he has some kind of a power issue in this place. So, Mr. Anjali, have let's wait for 3 minutes.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Validating data. In addition to user stories and so on, but you can also use it, let's say, if you bring into the table.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you are having a wonderful evening, a slow for Sunday evening over there. And it brings a great pleasure to welcome you once again to the third phase of Limitless Horizon 3.0, organized by the Rotary Club of Alumni of University of Moratuwa in collaboration with IEEE Student Branch of University of Moratuwa. Now, if you have been following our program, you are aware of that in Limitless Horizon 3.0, we are focusing on your aspirations. You're giving a path or showing your guidance to achieve your dreams. Now, why Limitless Horizons? Now, if you are a final year undergraduate, or if you are studying right now and you're about to face your final year exams, and the most often question that you always get these days is that what's next? What are you going to do next? And you're a bit frustrated to answer this question because you might not know what to do. And hence, that's why Limitless Horizons. Because when you go out of your one phase, which you call university life, and you'll be heading towards a horizon, a limitless, vast horizon. There's so much of potential, full of dreams, aspirations. But just like it is a horizon, like what you see in the sea. It's far beyond of your reach. You might not know where to go, when to travel, where to sail, because you need the proper guidance. You need the right sails, the right navigator, right astrolabe, or right compass in your hands to travel this limitless horizon. And that's why Rotary Club of Alumni of University of Moratuwa for the past 2 phases, and along with the IEEE branch of University of Moratuwa, student branch of University of Moratuwa, wanted to give you that right guidance, right direction when you're heading towards your journey to the limitless horizon, when you're about to navigate the limitless horizon. And here we are, after having two fruitful, productive discussions, right where another set of professionals, experts in this area to give you guidance, to shed a light upon your journey so that you don't get lost and you find the right path and you achieve your career goals, your professional, personal development in the years to come. So I hope you are ready. I hope buckle up for that ride, for that navigation. Don't worry, the sales are going to be just fine and the voters are going to be just fine because we have the right guidance, right navigators, right there here to guide you. So welcome you once again to the Limitless Horizon 3.0 Phase 3, organized by Rotary Club of Alumni of University of Moratuwa, along with IEEE Student Branch of University of Moratuwa. So today we'll be heading towards a conversation with professionals who have been doing this job, who have been giving this guidance for years, and they are ready to give you that guidance. Ladies and gentlemen, let me take this opportunity to invite, to have this discussion, to build up this conversation with you, is none other than Ms. Dhananjani Vijay from the AIA Study Abroad, manager of AIA Study Abroad, to carry on the proceedings from here onwards. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, so good evening, everyone. So welcome to Limitless Horizons Phase, organized by University of Moratuwa, as he gave a brilliant introduction. So we have partnered up with University of Moratuwa. So I'm Dhananjani Vijay, and I'm thrilled to host today as we embark on a journey to explore the possibilities of global education. So I'll share you a little bit of a presentation so you all can have a virtual session as well. So firstly, we'll go with an introduction of one of our video. So Christopher, can you share the video?
Study abroad with AIA. Pursue your undergraduate or postgraduate degree in Canada, Australia, UK, New Zealand, USA, France, Finland, or Germany. AIA Holdings.
Okay, so that's a small clip about us. So yes, moving forward, Christopher, can you go into the next slide? Yes, so Yes, today the presenters will be, you can meet Mr. Danny Sarsky, the co-founder and chief information officer of the Canadian University Application Center. So it's basically a company which is in Canada. He will be giving you expert advice directly from Canada itself. And moving forward, we have Mr. Shanil Jaisekar, who is the managing director of AIA Holdings and also the Canadian University Application Center Sri Lanka office manager, who is having brilliant ideas, and also he's an expert in this industry and has been in the education industry for more than 30 years. So, and moving forward, so that's me. I'm the Manjani Vijaya. I'm the manager of AIA Study Abroad. And you can meet, going forward, Mr. Nawab Azmi, senior counselor student of AIA Study Abroad. And then we have Miss Rizka Rizwan, who is also overseas student counselor. So let's move on to our presentation. So what is AIA? You all must be thinking what this company is. So we go as AIA Holdings because we actually have 8 companies under us. As you can see in the image, we have AIA Study Abroad. We are partnered with CUAC, Canadian University Application Center in Canada. And also we have an engineering institution called British Engineering Institute of Technology, which provides bachelor degrees in IT and engineering in Sri Lanka. And we also have credit management, Alpha Business School, and we do have a life coach called Dr. Philip Snary, and we have Mu Labs and as well as Impact Labs, which is a digital marketing agency. So when I'm talking about study abroad, at AIU Study Abroad, we actually believe that studying abroad is not about academics. It's much more about personal growth and cultural immersion and creating lifelong memories by choosing the right path. Okay, so with more than 10 years of experience, we have helped so much of students to discover their potential destinations. So if I'm to say why I study abroad, I can highlight that we do the processes free of charge. We don't charge for any registration or after visa payment. The A to Z procedure from the offer letter to the visa will be free. As well as we do dependent visas. It doesn't have to be one person. We do for your kids as well if you are married. So we do flight bookings, accommodation handling, and also we guide you for your course selections, and also we guide you for your career path, for the correct career path, which you can grow into your investment, which you are going to make in Sri Lanka prior going. And also we will be doing expert visa consulting, as we have more than 10 plus counselors for your guidance and to help. So we do have 2 branches. One is located in Colombo and as well as in Kandy. So I hope as y'all are in University of Muratua, most of them are located in Colombo. We are located in Bambalapitia, right in front of the Bambalapitia flats. So you can always visit us. Yes. So going forward, if I may go forward, Christopher. Yeah, so we do many countries. So you will be able to explore what are the countries by the presentation forward, moving forward. So firstly, we will go to the country which is very trending now, which is Canada. So I'll introduce Mr. Danny Sarsky to continue with this presentation, as well as Mr. Shanil Jasekar, because they are the best experts in the industry when it comes to Canada. So over to you, Mr. Danny.
Sure. Well, what I'll try and do today, following up on the introduction regarding pursuing your horizons, is to give you as much practical information as I can to help you focus on your options. Most of you, perhaps all of you, are very, very young, so it may well be that some pathways, some objectives for your near horizon is very straightforward if you are looking at Canada. And for others, depending on what you are interested in, it may not be straightforward. It may require an extra step, some upgrading, but anything's possible if you take the time to satisfy the requirements of whatever program or career pathway you are aspiring to. So just to give an initial overview, there are two basic streams academically to go and study in Canada. If you already have a bachelor degree, one is going to be master degree level, and the other will be postgraduate diploma. Something I really want to emphasize in my presentation is I'm necessarily speaking generally. There can be exceptions for anything I say. Maybe some things I say will be the case in 80% of situations, or 90 or 95. So without being able to evaluate you one by one, keep in mind it's general. And for very, very specific guidance, then just go to CUAC Sri Lanka, and AIA will take care of you and review your specific situation. So when it comes to the master level, just as an example of what I just said, it would be very rare for anyone to get a master offer who does not already have a bachelor degree. The exceptions may come, for example, where a program will admit based on exceptional, well-suited work experience. But as a general guideline, a bachelor degree will be needed. And as a further general guideline, usually that should be from good to very good GPA, possibly even better than that. For master degrees, there are two basic streams, and it's very, very important to understand these two different streams. One is called a research stream. And normally it would require about 1 year of courses and about 1 year of thesis preparation. Professors who make this offer, if it's in what we call STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, you may well, and it's common for students to get research and teaching monies. And the professors oversee a student's thesis preparation according to the professor's interests. So that sounds appealing, but when it comes to qualifications, those professors are looking for the most exceptional of students. So referencing back to the framework of horizons and whether something is straightforward or not, if you've been a good student up until now, let's say about a B average, but keep in mind, Canadian programs will determine what they think is equivalent. They may see your B as a B plus, they may see it as a C plus. But if you're in and around B, you're unlikely to receive any research master offer. You're very unlikely. Again, there could be exceptions. If you're a strong student, you have better chances, but they're probably still small for most programs. And if you're a great student, you have the best of chances, of course, but still going to be very small. And the reason is each professor will only take maybe 2 or 3 PhD students and maybe 4 or 5 or 6, or maybe only 2 master research students. So they have the funding usually in STEM fields. In other fields, it really depends if it's English literature or psychology or history. Who knows? Some have it, some have a little, some have nothing at all. So you need to keep that in mind in terms of how you spend your effort and your money, because these processes also cost a fair bit if you're applying to 5, 7, 10 programs. And the last point I'm going to say, both regarding research masters as well as doctoral programs, which almost always require extensive research for 4 years, is don't spend your time, as a general rule, just applying. You need to find a professor that's interested in you. And the way to do that is to be reading dozens and possibly much more than dozens of journal articles, and finding professors who, according to their research, you think would be very excited to have you as a student. If there isn't that connection, then your chances are really small, even if you've been a great student. So the other stream, of course, is course-based masters. And Canada is rather different than what you might find, for example, from a presentation on Australia. And it's different in this way. It doesn't have such a huge range of research master opportunity, of course-based master opportunities. Australia, very long ago, really invested in trying to make itself appealing to international students for course-based master programs. And Canada's been very gradual in terms of offering these things. So if you are looking at fashion, advertising, graphic design, and you'll find a great many others, if you're actually looking for course-based master program, there may be none in that field in Canada, or 1 or 2 or 3 or 6, but not like it will be common across Canada. Certainly in the examples I gave, they're not common for masters. If you're looking for business-related programs, those are common. Almost every university will have them. For IT, it somewhat depends. For engineering, you'll definitely find it. Almost every engineering program will offer course-based engineering programs. Just a word in case there's confusion. Medicine in Canada is a second degree. You have to have a bachelor for that, but it's extremely, extremely competitive. So it would be very exceptional for a student from abroad to get an offer into a medical school. Then the other stream is, I mentioned, postgraduate diplomas, and the differences are many. First of all, those do have a huge variety of options. So you may well find that while you can't find something in your field as a course-based master program, you can find it as a postgraduate diploma. Doesn't mean it's absolutely comprehensive. There still are gaps, and there may be programs that you really want that Canada doesn't offer you even as a postgraduate diploma. The other main difference is the academic requirements are generally not as strict, but again, I'm speaking generally, so there can be exceptions. They tend to fill up very, very quickly, even for 1 or 2 intakes in advance. And yes, some will be quite competitive in terms of academics or other proofs, such as English proficiency or even work experience. So that is something to bear in mind. But basically, if you approach us, we'll be able to evaluate you according to your interests, first of all, and let you know whether course-based master programs are viable and worth investing in, or whether to focus on on postgraduate diplomas. I should mention, I'll leave it to Dhananjani. Any questions are at any time, so just let the moderator know that you have a question about it. Of course, many of you will be interested in the budget part of it. And there you have the two main pieces. You have tuition costs, and you, of course, also have living costs. So for tuition costs, course-based masters tend to be what we would call two-year programs, but that doesn't necessarily mean 24 months, and they usually are not. 2 years for us generally is 16 months, 4 semesters of 4 months each. And master degrees tend to be from 20,000 Canadian for each year. That means for each 8 months and up. So the total program cost for a 2-year or actually 16-month program, some could be a little longer, some could be a little less, will be 35,000, 40,000 Canadian, but certainly there are some programs that are 50,000 or 60,000, and some MBA programs that could be even 80,000, 100,000 or more. So that's the tuition side. And then the living costs, as everybody knows, everywhere in the world, that depends, first of all, on location. So the biggest portion of living costs is where you'll sleep and how much that costs. And just as it's not the same everywhere in Colombo and it's not the same everywhere in Sri Lanka, that is very true in Canada. But as a very general guideline, you should look at a budget of at least 15,000 Canadian for a year of living expenses. I'm referring here to lodging and food, but I think more commonly it's going to be 20,000 or more. You have to think about transportation, books, pizza, laundry. There's a lot that goes in there. So as a further guideline, the Canadian government is now using in its evaluation of student financial capacity the figure of $20,000. So that's what it's seeing. So if you're applying for a program with a tuition of 20,000 for each year and it's 2 years, the visa office is going to look at that and look at the proof of income, savings, and all the rest, and ask itself, can this individual afford 40,000 a year for 2 years? That's how the evaluation will unfold. So as an overview in terms of the financial aspect, that's what you can keep in mind. Master programs, again, tend to be more costly than postgraduate diplomas. There are some very expensive postgraduate diplomas, but the more typical range would be about 15 to 22,000 a year for the postgraduate diplomas. Some could be somewhat more than that. If we turn to the immigration side of things, the work permit side of things, I know people are generally interested in that. You can work if you get a study permit, and you can work from the time you start your studies. So if you are admitted to a program beginning in September 2024 and you arrive July 2024, you can't actually work then. You haven't started your program. But once you start your program, you can work throughout. And if there's any recess, there's no limit on the hours. But while you're a full-time student, there is a limit, and there's also a practical limit. Particularly master degree programs are very, very demanding. So a student may want to work many hours a week, but may find it's not very practical, or she will fall behind on her studies. Some programs, especially master degrees, they're designed to help students take jobs while they're studying. So, for example, they may be offered very intensively on weekends and leaving students the chance to take actual full-time or nearly full-time jobs, maybe 20 hours a week over three work days, something like that. So that's a feature. A new element to our laws that was just introduced 2024 is that students who are in master degrees will be able to bring spouses or children, but not students in postgraduate diplomas. So that's going to be a change. And there's now a new requirement for the province in which the institution is situated to give a letter confirming that an offer has been made. And that won't be required for master programs, but it will now be required for any diploma program, including postgraduate diplomas. Something especially to note in master degree programs is they often run straight through. So unlike bachelor programs, which have a 4-month recess, pretty much standard, master programs don't commonly have a recess, because that can be a very appealing time in which to work, because you have 4 months and unlimited hours. So one can generate a lot of earnings in that. For postgraduate diplomas, it is more common to have breaks. And if you do 2 one-year postgraduate diplomas, then you might be able to have a break of 4 months in between that. And then, of course, after graduation, a student can apply for postgraduation work permit, and that can be up to 3 years, depending on the length of the actual program. But if it's a master degree, then under the new rules, it will be a standard 3 years for any graduate from a master degree. So are there any questions so far that might be helpful for me to take at this time? Anything?
Guys, if you have any questions which you would like to ask Mr. Danny, you can either let us know to unmute yourself, or you can drop in the chat box so I can read it to him so that he can answer.
If you all, sorry, I'm Shanil here. If you all have a question, you can ask in Sinhala or Tamil. We can translate it to Danny and maybe translate it back to you if you need it that way. ගොන්ඩ සිංහලෙන් හරි සිංහල භාෂාවෙන් හරි දමිළ භාෂාවෙන් හරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා නම් අහන්න අපි ඒක මිස්ටර් ඩැනීට ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් යාගෙන් අහලා යාගේ උත්තරේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට කියලා දෙන්න.
So unless I'm guided further, I can certainly speak on other topics, but otherwise that would constitute my overview of the Canadian opportunities.
Thank you, Danny. Dhananjani, you can proceed from there.
Yes, okay. So thank you, Mr. Danny, for the grateful insights with the recent updates as well. So yes, so going forward, we will be going for the insights of UK. So don't worry if you have any questions. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට මොනවා හරිම ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා නම් අපේ අන්තිමට presentation එකේදී Q&A session එකක් තියෙනවා. ඉතින් බය වෙන්න එපා ඕනම ප්‍රශ්නයක් අහන්න. මොනවා එක පොඩි ප්‍රශ්නයක් වුණත් නැත්නම් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට ඒක practical නැති වුණත් අපි answer කරන්නම් අන්තිමට presentation එකේදී. So going forward will be UK. So I'll introduce Mr. Nawab Azmi. He will continue with the presentation with insights for UK. Over to you, Nawab.
Hi, thank you, Dhananjani. Hi guys. So I'm going to give a brief, roundabout about why and how you can, go across your studying in UK. So very basic details. I'll give you all the age criteria and how the student post-study work visa works in UK. So initially, how it works is for students who want to go for bachelor's degree, right? You will have to have your A levels, of course, and primarily our recommendation is always to do the IELTS, whatever your course is going, because at the end of the day, we would need a good English speaking student to be accepted by the university and also by the visa officers as well. So generally, we recommend students to be at least before applying for the undergraduate programs to be at the age of 25. So if you're looking to go for bachelor's degree or below, so basically undergraduate programs, it's always good to go for a student who is at the age of below 25 years old. And I'm assuming most of you are doing the degree or might have completed it. So you guys would be most probably going to be looking at a postgraduate program. So example, masters. So in your case, of course, it is always recommended to be at the age of 25 above or even 35 below. So although there are cases where you will be permitted to apply even if you're a 30 years old, 35 plus. So you all can be even 38 and even 40 is not an issue, but always be sure that you have strong grounds as to why you are a student, right? So a good point to come about is the more recent your studies is, the higher chance that you are being looked as a student when you are applying for the visa. Of course, all of these will be explained to you all once we are applying for the student visa. You can always come and meet us, but this is just a brief idea of how an undergraduate and how a postgraduate student should apply when they are considering the age when they come to UK. And of course, the other very basic requirements are, to have a good English background. And if you do not have any sort of proof to show that you have an English language background, you can always do the IELTS. So when it comes to IELTS, if you're doing a bachelor's program, we recommend to do at least have a point of 6.0 overall and no bands less than 5.5. And when it comes to masters, in most of your cases, you'll have to have a IELTS band of overall 6.5 with no bands less than 6. However, depending on the program, the IELTS bands will definitely vary. Right? So that is the English language requirement. And if you're looking to go for a bachelor's degree, I would recommend you all to have at least 3 A-level passes, right? And if you're moving on to a program where you'll be having to do the master's degree, I would recommend you all to have a second upper and in some cases second lower as well. Now, I understand that not all of us would be able to achieve all of these requirements. However, do not worry. Even if you do not meet these requirements, there are always options available for students where you will still be able to achieve your dream of studying in UK. For example, if you have a low GPA, there are always pathway programs, or commonly known as pre-masters, where you are always eligible to apply for that particular 6-month or 3-month course, which will then be able to do the masters in UK as well. So there are several options and several gateways. It always goes case by case. Or always make sure that whoever you're consulting with has been updated with all your requirements, right? So moving on, I will be talking about the post-study work rights, most commonly known as PSW. Why do we go to UK, right? Not only to study, but I understand that most of you are always looking to look at your future. So from now to the student visa and 5 years or 6 years, 7 years ahead. Nonetheless, we should always be able to give the student the right guidance, right? And in your case, of course, that if you are a student of undergraduate or postgraduate, the basic requirement, if you are doing a master's, it is 1 year. And if you do the master's 1 year, you get a 2 years PSW. So technically, it means you're there for at least 3 years. And if you are doing undergraduate program, which normally ranges for around 3 years, right? And if you do the 3 years bachelor's program, you're eligible to do a 2 years post-study work visa. So just to give more details, this you would be going under the tier 4 visa category, right? And even after your post-study work rights, you are eligible to go under a work visa. And that work visa will be called as tier 2 work visa. I know this is a lot of information for you all. Always, it's difficult to give, a very brief idea about the country, but I understand that I can always give a very general introduction on these countries. However, we are always available on our hotline as well. We'll be sharing your details, and if you all have any questions, you can all reach out to us. I'm trying to think of any other things, maybe. Yeah. Also, another thing is, for example, if you're done with your degree, right, you can do the masters. However, right, when it comes to undergraduates, you are not allowed to take any dependents whatsoever. However, when it comes to the master's program, there is a chance where which you can go for masters in research, and there are certain other programs where you are always eligible to get your dependent with you as well. And also the living cost will also be very important for you all to know, right? Per month in Canada, in UK, sorry, per year, I would assume. In London, anyways, the living cost is going to be considerably higher than any other region. So in UK, London specifically, you will have to show around 12,006 GBP for an year when you're showing the show money. Now, I understand that this has been one of the most important components when we are applying for a visa because we have to show evidence that we are as students capable of financing our studies and our living. So there's a proper guidance given to us, right? If you're in London, you have to show a living cost of 12,006 GBP. And if you're out of London, it's 9,207. And also the average tuition fee you will be having to incur is around 14,000 to 17,000 GBP. Now, these may vary depending on the scholarships and other benefits. For example, the alumni students, maybe some of you all might be from other places. So depending on this, your fees will vary. However, we will always be giving you all the full guidance on how to apply for each of these places, and we'll give you a cost breakdown, which is more suitable for you depending on the program and area you want to stay in UK. So I believe I have covered most of the very basic points for UK. And of course, once we are done with the session, or if any of you all have any questions, you all can always reach out to me right now. Yeah, over to you, Mr.
Thank you so much, Nawab. That was actually great. So I think you covered almost everything. But anyway, if there's any other questions, you all are always welcome to ask us through. Yeah. So moving forward, another destination which is very famous now, Australia. So yes, so over to you, Riska. You can continue with the presentation with your valuable insights. Netsara, can you give the host to Priska as well so that she can unmute?
Okay, all right. So thank you, Dhananjani, for providing me the opportunity. And yeah, good evening, everyone who is present here today. So yeah, well, I'm going to speak to you, all of you, about Australian destination, which is currently very popular and in the top notch for educations. Okay, so basically, like we will be covering with many topics, like including the intakes and then the admission requirement, the financial requirements, etc. So we'll be covering up in the topic. So yeah, so literally like you would like most of the students, you all have opportunities to study in Sri Lanka as well with postgraduate and undergraduate programs. But still you choose a study abroad option. The reason would be most probably just to gain international exposure and then as well as some of the westernized technological resources. So basically when we take some engineering students, science students or else IT students, so when the technological grow further, so also the technology, yet the Sri Lanka is a developing country, but Australia is a well-developed country. So in that case, compared to the course modules in Sri Lankan, these things, Sri Lankan course modules in your any programs related to undergraduate or postgraduate, the Australian modules must be more and much more elaborated. So in that case, you choose with the most technological resources, you choose Australian destinations further. And then the guaranteed career path. Once after you complete your education, okay, so basically you're completing maybe your postgraduate or undergraduate. Most of the Sri Lankan companies, the high-scale companies, they recruit foreign graduated students. So these are the some insights that we have to be aware of why we are going to choose study abroad options. So moving forward for Australian requirements, initially if I take, it will be the intakes. Okay, so before starting on with an application, you should be aware about what are the intakes it's going to be. So the intakes will be the major intakes are February and July. As well, there is a sub-intake, November. So there are some universities, not all the main universities provide the intake. Some universities provide November intake as well. So the intakes will go as February, July, and sub-intake is November. And then coming up to the second point, that will be the admission requirements. So when coming with the admission requirement point, you have to be aware of three things, which will be the age, and then the academic, and then the language requirement. So when it comes to age, if you are a student who is after your advanced level, if you're going to apply for your undergraduate program, your age limit will be 25. And then if you are a student who has completed your undergraduate program and you're currently going to apply for a postgraduate program, then your age limit will be 35. So you have to be aware of the age limit as well, because that will be an impact on your PSW in future. So yeah, so that will be the age limit when coming on with that criteria. And then the next admission requirement will be your academic. So when you're going with the academic, after your A-levels with your minimum 3 C passes, you can apply for an undergraduate program. But when you're coming up with a postgraduate program, you can apply after your undergraduate, but you have to make sure you have a second upper, most probably a second upper class in your degree. As well, it's then you can apply for a direct master's. But in case if there is an issue like you don't have a second upper, maybe there is a second lower, then there is an option where you can apply for a graduate diploma plus a master's. So in that case, you will be doing your first year of graduate diploma and then doing your second and your third year as your master's. So for an example, if you want to follow a master's in engineering management, so yeah, then you will, if you're having a second lower class degree, in that case, yet you can apply for a master's degree. How that will go is your program you're choosing is engineering management and your university you're choosing can be La Trobe University. So initially, if you are having a second lower, then you can apply for a graduate diploma plus master's, whereas you will be completing your graduate diploma first year in La Trobe College and then transferring for the second and the third year for La Trobe University in order to complete your master's. So there is an option even if you're having a second lower class in order to apply for a master's program in Australia. So you have to be aware about that academic requirement as well. So covering up with the academic requirements, moving further with the financials. So basically how the financials will be calculated for a student visa is, which will include their first year living cost, first year tuition fee, and their first year travel charge. So these inclusive for one particular academic year will be your financial requirements. So when you take the first year living cost of Australia, which is 29,710 Australian dollars. And then secondly, coming up with your tuition fee. So tuition fee basically will vary on, if you're choosing an undergraduate program, it will range up from 30,000 to 40,000 Australian dollars. If you're choosing a postgraduate program, it will range up to 40,000, even up to 50,000 Australian dollars. So which will include your first year living cost, your tuition fee, and then your travel will be 2,200 Australian dollars. So all these three main financial requirements, all including. So your first year living cost, first year tuition fee, and your first year travel charge will be equal to your show funds. So whereas you will have to show an amount of around 15 to 16 million of show funds, which is Sri Lankan rupees, LKR, you will have to show the show funds. For the 1 whole year, cost will be your study in Australia. So this is the basic financial requirements. So these finance can be sponsored by various people. So if you are the student, it can be sponsored by your parents, your siblings, and then your spouse, your grandparents, or your uncle aunt. So whoever is showing the particular finance also should be able to show the accurate source of the funds. So if you're going to show the particular funds, it can be a salary, it can be an FD or savings, but you have to make sure that you are having a proof source of fund, which is the genuine funds need to be shown accurately as a requirement. So this is how it will be covering up with the financial requirements. So moving further with the fourth point, we'll come to the scholarship. So scholarship, basically, like most of the universities in Australia, depending on your academic, you will be receiving a scholarship. So there is various scholarships like Vice Chancellor Scholarship and then Excellence Scholarships and everything. So you will be eligible depending on your academic results, you will be eligible for scholarship as well, starting from 20% to leading up to 50% of scholarship as well. So moving further with after completing all, moving further with your scholarship opportunity, next would be about post-study work rights. So the main option of all the students after completing your education will be the target of your post-study work rights. So post-study work rights, how that will work on with the UG student, if you have completed your undergraduate program, but your universities are located in the major cities like Melbourne, Sydney, and then Brisbane, your post-study work visa offered to an undergraduate students will be 2 years. In case if you're a student, if you're a postgraduate student, and yet your universities are located in the major cities, as I stated before, you will be eligible for a post-study work visa of 3 years. And then the rest of the other cities like the other major center cities like Perth, Adelaide, Wollongong, those cities, if the universities are located in those type of cities, and then for a postgraduate student, you will be eligible for 4 years of post-study work rights. And for undergraduate students, it will be 3 years of post-study work rights. So literally what we have to come up with is like, there are some major programs as well, like IT, nursing, engineering. There is a high likelihood for students in the major cities for the post-study work rights. So this is how the post-study work rights will be working. And also covering up with all these points, there is a very huge question for all the students right nowadays. Like if you go for a destination in order to study abroad, they are more considerate about their part-time job opportunities. Yes, you are eligible to work part-time, 20 hours per week, you're eligible to work. So finding a part-time job is not easy in all the countries. You can't say like only Australia it's difficult. No, it's same in Australia, UK, or Canada. When you can't find it over even in Sri Lanka, it becomes a bit complex even in Australia. So I can just give you a normal insight about a part-time job in Australia. So how most of the students say how it works is the most highest paid job as well as the most people you can get a job as well as the market in job is available in Australia is the barista, which is the bartender. So these particular barista courses are available in Sri Lanka. So the requirement now, when you go to the particular country, and if you're looking forward to work as a part-time student, when you're going to work part-time, so it's very easy for you to find a job in barista. But the only requirement from the particular barista companies would be you should have a certificate of completion of the barista course. So it's just a 2 to 3 days workshop conducted in Sri Lanka. Before going to the particular country, you can find it over here and complete your barista course, which is only just 2 to 3 days workshop. And then you will be receiving a certificate of completion. With the particular certificate of completion, you will be able to get a job opportunity in barista, which will be a highest paid job in the particular country, as well as you will have many job opportunities open, particularly in the major cities like Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. So this is how the process part-time job opportunities will be working on along with the particular country. So yeah, so coming up with all these things, hope that I have covered many of the topics inside of the Australian studies. So if there is anything further, you can contact us. We will be sharing as well as our contact details at the end of this presentation as well. Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you, Riska. Actually, I think you gave a small tip for the part-time jobs at the end as well. So like this, we do have so many tips which you can go to. I mean, you can go overseas and follow. So you can always contact us for expert advice. So moving forward will be New Zealand. So Riska will be presenting about New Zealand as well. So over to you, Riska, again.
Yeah. So New Zealand, as well as it is an English-speaking country, so you would know the main language goes there as English and Maori. That's their national language, and then which is located in the Southwest Pacific Ocean, which will consist of North Island and South Island. So the main universities like Auckland and Wellington are considered to be in different parts of the country, as well as the capital will be Wellington, but most of the happenings like the universities, the students, and everything is in Auckland. So yeah, so I will just brief you about these as well with the intakes and everything, etc. So yeah, when it comes to the New Zealand, same as Australia, February and July, and also they have a sub intake for October and November. So October, we have to come to a conclusion. We have to process the applications 6 months prior the intakes for a safe side of the student and not a rush. So the intakes would be February and July, and there are some universities with the open intakes of October as well. And then going back again to the admission requirements, students who is going to pursue an undergraduate program will be is applicable till 30 years. They can till 30 years of age, you can apply for a undergraduate program. People till 50 years of age can apply for a postgraduate program as well. That will be the age requirement for the particular university, any universities in New Zealand. And then coming up with the academic requirement, same goes as with the other countries. If you're going for an undergraduate program, you should have minimum 3 Cs in your A levels. And then if you're going forward for an postgraduate program, you should have a second level at least. So that is how it will go on with an academic. And then the language, it is accepted, coming up with the English language requirement. It will be English language requirements like IELTS, PTE is accepted in New Zealand for the student visa purpose as well as for the universities. So IELTS basic requirements will be overall 6.5, each band 6 for a postgraduate program. And then overall 6, each band not less than 6 for an undergraduate program. So this is how the English language requirement will be working with the particular country. So the post-study work rights for the country, which both UG and PG will be eligible from 2 to 3 years of post-study work rights after completing their particular program, which will some can be 2 years and some can be 3 years as well. That will be depending after you complete your program. Most probably 3 years of post-study work rights is eligible for the students over there. And then moving forward for the financial requirements. So as I elaborated first in Australia, this goes as a same. How your show funds is calculated is with your first year living cost, first year tuition fee, and your first year travel. So the first year living cost for New Zealand will be 20,000 New Zealand dollars. Okay, so which will come up to around 4 to 5 million LKR. And then going forward with the tuition fee, same for an undergraduate program, 35 to 40,000 New Zealand dollars. Postgraduate program will go even more up to 55,000 New Zealand dollars. So in LKR, around 8 to 10 million will be the cost range of the New Zealand. And then, yeah, the travel will be 2,000 the same. So all inclusive, the first year tuition fee, first year travel charge, and first year living cost inclusive, it will range up to for you to show even up to 20 million. Depending on the course fee, it can vary on the show funds requirements as well. So particularly the show fund requirements can be shown by your blood relatives and then your parents as well. So in some cases, most of the cases, there is only 2 sponsors entertained for New Zealand as well, not very many sponsors like Australia, just 2 sponsors in most of the cases. Yeah, so that is how the course of, and that is how the financial requirements will be working. Same applicable for like the other countries. You will have to show the proof of source of funds, how you receive the funds, if it is through a salary or it can be through a loan or a vehicle sale or whatever it is, you should show the genuine funds with the documentations. That is how it will be working with the financial requirements for New Zealand. And then coming out with the part-time employment, same New Zealand will be working, the students will be working 20 hours per week. They will be eligible for that as well. So application process, you have to start 6 months prior. It's very simple. We will be doing it by all our side. So you will be receiving your offer letter and then submit all the visa documents. So the most probable thing is like after your visa application only, you will need to make your payment, your tuition fee payment. That is the thing you have to be aware in New Zealand. So once after you lodge with your visa, you will have to make your university payment, not before that. So yeah. So this is how these are the basic details I can give you about New Zealand, and further details can be derived through any of contacting any of us through the contact details we'll be sharing at the end of the presentation as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Riska. So adding to what Riska said, we represent both the state universities and the semi-government universities in New Zealand. So we will always recommend you and guide you for the budget you have as well. So yes, so with no delay going further, we have another country, I think, which will be kind of new to Sri Lanka, which is UAE, United Arab Emirates. So Nawab Azmi will be giving you the insights of UAE. So over to you, Nawab.
Hi, thank you, Dana. So I understand that many of you have not come across UAE as a study destination. However, there are several benefits that we have come across where the current students which we handle have always asked us, some option which they are more comfortable with. When it comes to show funds and IELTS, these are one of the two main major, hurdles or barriers where students who wish to have an international education do not always be able to get it. So we have come across this opportunity where students who have graduated and who are able to find themselves in a good international exposure can always do UK or Australian universities located in UAE. So UAE is divided into 7 states, right? They have Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Oman, Sharjah, and Ras Al Khaimah, right? So these places, however, we are mainly handling universities which are located in Ras Al Khaimah and Dubai. So moving on, I'll be explaining it all in Dubai since most of these universities are located in Dubai, right? And the most popular universities are located over there, University of Bologna, the Montfort University, University of Bolton, Ras Al Khaimah, which is with Wing. And of course, we are also very happy to have a exclusive partnership with Middlesex University, Dubai as well. So these programs are very similar to other UK destinations. So just to give an idea how this country works, all you have to do is send us the documents, right? And we will evaluate it, and accordingly, we will show the university, and you will be eligible to apply for that program, whatever the choice. So I'll give you a brief breakdown of what you need to do in order to apply for the graduate programs and undergraduate programs. So if you're a student who has completed A levels with 3 Cs, of course, you are eligible to apply for a undergraduate programs in bachelor's in tourism, bachelor's in psychology, bachelor's in accounting, economics, business, engineering, software engineering, even IT fields are enough and more programs available at your disposal. Of course, there is the English language requirement, which many countries are requiring you to do IELTS, PTE, TOEFL, and I understand that this is a very sensitive subject because it's very difficult for us as because we don't speak English as our first language. We are completely, most of us speak in Sinhala and then Tamil, and then we have our secondary language as English. So of course, this has become big of a barrier to many students. And do not worry about it. This option allows you to go to UAE and have a UK or Australian qualified degree. So even if you have an English O level C or an A level pass in English, you are always eligible to apply for the program. And of course, if you're even having lower than A level pass of 3 Cs, there are several cases where we have evaluated with students and we've spoken with the university and accepted their application. So, however, this always goes case by case, and feel free to always come back to us and get more details, right? And also, when it comes to the master's programs, right, you can always apply with a degree, and in some cases, even professional qualifications are accepted. Now, of course, you might be wondering, for this, do we need an English language, ELP waiver? So, of course, for this as well, if you have completed your degree in the English medium, all you have to do is apply through us, and we will always be able to explain to the university since we are always direct partners. So, this as well, you will not be requiring IELTS, TOEFL, or PT. All you have to do is show us the documents, the transcripts, and certificates that you have completed the degree, and we'll be able to share this with the university, and they'll be able to give you a IELTS waiver. So, since this has been a very useful tool and useful advantage for our students, we have been heavily promoting this option if students really want to go and get their international exposure. And moving on, now I understand there is the other hurdle, which is the very common one, which they require the show funds, also the show money. So how much show money should we show for UAE or Dubai? Absolutely zero. See, the country has its own rules, right? And they are flexible enough to understand that students do not require these evidence and all stuff. So they do not require any show funds at all, as long as you have the offer letter from the respected university. You're always eligible to apply for the country of this place, and you can always come back to us. And do not worry about the visa. Most of the universities handle the visa from their end, so you do not have to worry about handling the visa process. The visa process and charges are completely handled by most of these universities, and we'll be able to give you a good guidance on how the visa will be going. Don't worry, this visa is completely, it's so easy compared to other countries. I have been handling most of the international countries, for instance, Canada and UK, and I have found that this has been one of the most easiest visa processes that I've ever come across. It is very easy for the students and easy for us as well. Also, you all might be wondering about the scholarships available, right? So we have scholarships ranging from 5%, 10%, 20%, 25%, all the way up to 50%, right? So this technically means that you are spending half of the tuition fees you are probably spending if you are regular student. So it goes ranging from different criteria. There is something called the criteria where we will be giving a table and we'll be sending it to the university. University will be going through the application and they'll be granting you a good scholarship according to your profile. Now, of course, we are having an exclusive grant available for Middlesex University Dubai. Right? At the moment, we are having the grant at 7,000 dirhams. So it's close to around 6 lakhs worth of scholarships. And on top of that, 33% for international foundation programs, 23% for bachelor's program, and respectively for the master's program, 25%. Now, these may increase according to the student's profiles. So the higher your GPA or the better your academic profile, we are always able to provide you with a scholarship. Now, of course, you might be wondering about the work opportunities. Now, it is a common misconception of how work and student visa are varying in the country, particularly Dubai. Of course, the conventional rule is always to go under the 3-month visit visa, right? Go there and in the hopes of getting a job or landing an interview, you will be able to convert it to the work visa. Now, in this case, of course, it's more or less the same. There is something called the no objection certificate from these universities which they provide, right? Which you will be able to work part-time. Now, it is always important to note that you don't have to stay in the no objection certificate or you don't have to stay in your student visa. Once you land in Dubai, you're always eligible and always legally allowed to shift your student visa to a work visa. So since most of you all are postgraduate, so most of you all are undergraduate students, you'll be most probably looking to do something in the master's field. So you all can always apply for a part-time student visa. And since you are working as a part-time student, you are technically allowed to use your remaining hours to work. So if most of you all will be doing as a part-time and most of you all are going as a postgraduate or master's program, you will be technically only having to study for around maybe 3 hours or 4 hours, 3 times a week, 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. So from 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., you will have a lot of time remaining for yourselves. So it's no doubt that you'll be able to work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 jobs at a reputed and possibly good company. This is, of course, we can go into much more detail, and I don't think that we'll be, and it always goes case by case. So if you're in IT field, if you're in the accounting field, or even if you're in psychology or tourism, we always cater according to the student's profile. So we're looking at your CV and discussing how and when this profile will be able to apply for the relative course. And also one important thing is, what do you do after you complete your studies, right? So, of course, you might have already heard of us talking about the post-study work rights in Canada and in what do you call Australia, New Zealand, and UK. So, what is the post-study work rights for UAE? In UAE, there's no post-study work rights. Of course, on the other hand, you are eligible to still stay under the work visa. When you're in the work visa, you are allowed to stay there as long as you're employed, right? And there's another point that which most of the people do not come across. So I'll explain it from behind in a way that you'll be excited. There's something called the 10-year golden visa, right? I mean, the one you'll be going is the student visa, which you'll be able to stay there as long as you studies. So the 10-year golden visa, just a small exciting point for you, is a 10-year visa which you are allowed to stay in Dubai and have your dependents and all these the main benefits. So how do you get this 10-year golden visa? Yeah. So you have to spend at least 10 million, right? 10 million dirhams. So 10 million dirhams is roughly more than $2 million in order to get this visa. So in order to get the 10 million visa, the 10-year golden visa, you have to spend 10 million dirhams. In other words, $2.5 million. So why am I bringing up this crazy, very unattainable visa opportunity to students who are from Sri Lanka. What is the connection between these universities in Dubai and the 10-year golden visa? So exciting news is, as long as the students who have completed, and I'll give you an example, let's say a student from Middlesex University, Dubai, he or she has completed the bachelor's or master's in your cases, has completed the master's successfully with a first class degree, right? You will be able to achieve your goal of attaining a 10-year golden visa, where you will be not required to spend any amount of money of 10 million dirhams. All you have to do is get a first class from the university. And don't worry, most of these universities do an assignment-based program, because most of these are from UK and Australia. So all you have to do is do the assignment very well. There's a research model which will be carrying most of the points, and it's relatively easy if you go to the classes on time and study. Of course, there'll be a little bit, effort from your side, but I am very confident to say you that even if the struggle is worth it. If you once you finish the degree or the masters, you are always eligible to apply for the 10-year golden visa as long as you get your first class degree. So that is an exciting point which I always make sure to relate to students, because I mean, being in this industry, I understand that most of you all are looking long-term goals, and we may be labeling ourselves as student visa counselors, but understand that there are other things that you always have to look into, going in there and settling. Most of the things we cover, we discuss about the future of the students. Although we are student visa counselors, we are more concerned about the current and future opportunities of the students that come across. So we always are looking to give the best solutions. And my opinion, in dealing with countries like UK, Canada, and Australia, I feel like this is one of the best opportunities for students to make use of. And of course, you'll be wondering about the costs, right? So considerably much cheaper than UK, although these are one of the main branches of universities from UK and Australia. Most of these universities do not require application fee, right? For example, University of Bolton, they require $100 application, whereas University of Bologna and Middlesex University do not require any application fee whatsoever. Of course, there are other expensive and more reputed universities like Canadian University Dubai, which will be charging you around 500 dirhams for the application fee. But of course, we are working with other universities who are much more affordable and much more friendly when it comes to the selection and visa process of student. I think I have most probably covered most of the points. I believe that some of you all might have more doubts on this destination. Of course, we are more than welcome to cater to your needs. If you all are requiring any more further information, you can always come and visit us, right? And the contact information will be provided at the end of the slide. If you all want to raise any questions right now, also you are more than welcome. And if I have missed anything, then Anjali, you all please point it out. And if not so, then we can move on to the next slide. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nava. I think you pretty much covered everything. But even if not, if there's any question, guys, you are always welcome to ask us. Okay, so without any delay, we'll move forward for the next slide, Europe. Okay, so I'll be giving you the insights and the knowledge advices on Europe. So when it comes to Europe, you all might know Europe means Schengen. Schengen includes 26 countries. So out of that, not every country provides you worldwide recognized qualification. So you have to be very careful when you are going to select a country within Europe if you are planning to invest yourself in education, especially putting apart your career goals. So the first country I would say Sweden. So Sweden these days kind of very trending because with the issues which are with UK and Canada, so people have much moved on to Sweden. So basically when it comes to Sweden, the for undergraduate programs you can apply until 35. So as you all are university students, you can apply, but there won't be any transfer programs or any top-ups. You can apply for a direct bachelor's degree there. And also for postgraduate programs, there's no actually a limit age, which means for education, of course, for education, there's no limit. But the universities will provide you with offer letters, but be careful because when it comes to the visa process, the immigration will only look up until about 40, 45. Apart from, going forward after 45, it will be kind of risky. But I think as you all are university students, none of you all are above 40, yeah? So about the, when it comes to applying, A-levels is compulsory. So A-level, you should have at least 3 Cs. As you all are university students, obviously you will be having, but if you have any, cousins or anyone, you can always advise them. If anyone is applying for Sweden, they should definitely have at least 3 Cs. A-level is compulsory. So, and also for undergraduate programs, for a postgraduate program, second class upper is mandatory in order to apply for a master's. So mainly the master options, such as the main specializations which are very popular, will be around teaching, IT, science side, and also business analytics. Those kind of fields are very skilled in Sweden. And also there's no need for IELTS because the university will be having an interview call once you process with the university offer letter. Either you will have to do IELTS, but if not, if you are looking at IELTS waive off, after attending the interview, they will decide whether for you to go ahead with or without IELTS. So many agents must be saying that you can go ahead without IELTS, but be very careful because there will be an interview call which you will have to speak in English. Sinhaleng nemei with English. And also as it's Sweden, which is a Europe country, their native language is Swedish or rather German. I won't push you to Sweden unless you really want to go for your academics, but be careful, know what you are going to do, and also do have an English knowledge as well, because end of the day, as counselors and human beings, we don't want y'all to get in trouble once you go there. So, and also the course fees fall around 13,000 Swedish kron there. And also 1 point, their currency is not euro, it's kron. So basically kron is around 25 rupees or around 30 rupees in Sri Lankan rupees. So that's why the course fee is much low. So the course fees fall around 15,000 to 20,000 lakhs. Sorry, 20 lakhs. So that will be the yearly payment. You just have to make the first 6 months payment only when you're applying for the visa. And also main intakes falls on January and August. So you even if there are 2 intakes, you have to apply at least 1 year prior. So basically means this year intakes are closed. Next year will be January. So if you all are having any plans to go for January, you can start your applications now itself, because unlike UAE, Canada, or Australia, they don't keep on having their intakes open. They have their recent intake coming up. They will only have their application portal open for just 2-3 weeks, and then they will close it up. And then you can never apply, or you can't bargain with them. So if you are looking at Sweden, of course, or for any Europe country, basically start your process soon as possible. And also dependents, one of the main points. So dependents, you can accompany the dependents and your kids as well, where they can get a job visa, a open job work visa, which they can work unlimited hours for any occupation. And also for the show money, each person, the living cost will be around 9,450 kron monthly, which is approximately around 1,14,000 per year, which is equalized into at least 6 million. So altogether, in short, I would say the show money will be falling around 12 million. That means 120 lakhs. And it should be matured for 3 months, right? Not 6 months, just 3 months. If you have the source of funds, as in how the money came into your bank account, then it doesn't have to be matured. But if the fund is not matured, then you will have to show the source. If it is more than 3 months, it is not required. And also only your immediate blood relations can show. That means your parents, siblings, and yourself. If you are married, your spouse. Only those people can show the show funds. Apart from that, if I would say, and one more point, there's no immigration. Sweden embassy in Sri Lanka, you all will have to go to India just for the biometrics. So it will be kind of a complicated procedure when it comes to Sweden, because as there's no embassy in Sri Lanka, you will be lost, because there are various visa categories. So we will be guiding you with the expert advice. Do not worry, even you are applying, or even if your dependents are applying along with you, we will be lodging the visa from Sri Lanka. Just for the biometric, just for 2-3 days, you will have to go to India. You don't have to waste any more money for like staying in India for 20 or 30 plus days. So that's about Sweden. I think I was very quick. And also another point about the post-study work visa, it will be for undergraduate degrees 1 year, and also for postgraduate it will be 1 year. So the program duration for masters will be 2 years. So basically you just have to pay the first 6 months, first semester payment when you are going. So if there's any inquiry about Sweden, you can always reach us. Yes, I'll be moving forward for another country. So that's Finland. Finland is one of the Scandinavian countries you might know. So for the requirements for degrees, the age limit is 35, just like Sweden, and also postgraduate, no age limit. But be careful when you're going to apply. You should be meeting with the immigration requirements. And also for the post-study work visa, both the degree levels and postgraduate levels will be 2 years for the post-study work visa. And also one very good fact, normally the countries will provide with part-time with 20 hours or less. So in here in Finland, you can work 30 hours per week. So which means you can earn a lot as well. And also you can accompany your dependents. It can be your kids or whoever. They will be granted with the open job work visa. And also the main intakes falls on January and August. Like I said, don't wait until the last moment. You can't get in. If you're applying for Finland, try now itself, and also contact us so you will know what requirements are exactly needed and what are the documentation you should prepare prior. Because for the application, it should be a complete application along with your IELTS or the funds and all the rest of the documents. So like I said, apply prior and early as possible. And another thing is they provide with very good scholarship. So it comes up to 50%. The course fees basically is around, I would say, around 15 lakhs to 20 lakhs. But if you get a 50% scholarship, the course fee will be falling less than 12 lakhs. So recently, even one of my students just paid only about 4.5 lakhs as per the semester payment, because she got a scholarship. So likewise, there are various scholarships, but it comes with terms and conditions, okay? Because it all lies within your qualifications. Like I said, you should definitely have a second class upper if you are going for a postgraduate program, right? And also when it comes for the show money, you should show a living cost of 13,440 per year. So in totally, I would say the show funds would fall around 12 to 15 million with a maturity of 3 months. And also that particular fund should be under the applicant's name. So let's say you all are married. If you all are married, it cannot be under your spouses or maybe kids or your parent-in-laws or parents' names. It should be under the applicant's name. So likewise, there are few points which you should understand when you are going to apply. So we will be guiding you with A to Z procedures about the maturity and how you should put the funds and where, because, and also when it comes to banks, you can't put in every bank as well. You can't just put in HDFC bank and you can't show, because there are particular banks which will be recognized inside Finland. So there are many points which you will have to consider, but don't worry, we will be guiding you with that as well. So yes, so moving forward, the other country which I could say is kind of popular, which is Germany, which most of the students look for in Europe. So like in the presentation mentioned, the undergraduate programs, the requirement of age limit will be 25 years, and also for postgraduate until 30 years. So if you are looking at, especially I would say Germany, if you are into mechanical engineering, civil engineering, any kind of engineering, I think it's the best country for you. I think University of Morocco is having lots of engineering students. I think you yourself might know as well, because Germany, they provide with the best mechanical engineering programs, so which you can do internships in universities while studying, which they can, for example, BMW company is in Germany, so they provide with internships inside those very famous popular companies, which you can later on get a contract and you can convert into a job visa and continue to live there. So the post-study work visa is available as well. Just because they give internship, you don't have to continue with it. You will be given a post-study work visa. So for undergraduate programs, it will be just 1 year, and also for postgraduate programs, it will be 18 months. You will be given a job seeking visa. So within that period, you have to find a job definitely, and then convert it into a working visa. So don't think you have to, in the first month itself for the post-study work visa, you have to get a job. No, you can wait up to 18 months, and then, in maybe in a year, you can convert into a working visa. But one fact, don't wait until the last moment. So there's around 18 months if you are looking for a master's program. So likewise, you can apply for the work visa, and then you can go ahead with the PR procedure. Is you have to be fluent in German, because their native language is German, and then you can apply to a thing called blue card. So you will have to work for certain time, at least 2+ years, and then you can apply for a thing called blue card, which will be diverting you for the residence permit. And also, when it comes to show money, there's no show money actually involved, but there is a statement called block account, which is you will have to show around 11,208 euros in a account which should be located in Germany in a blocked account. So it will be staying until you are done with your program. And once you go to Germany, they will be providing with you around averagely 800 euros monthly for your living expense out of the block account. So one fact, if you leave the program or do any mischievous things while you're studying, you won't get the money back which you have put as the block account. Yeah, so like I said, there's the post-study work visa, and also the course fees fall around 14,100 averagely euros. That means specifically around 2.5 million, 25 lakhs. So you just have to make the semester payment before going. And apart from that, I have to tell there's no part-time available in Germany. So you will have to be aware of that as well, because they will only provide you with internships, not any part-time options. So like I said, if you're applying for Germany, be very specific on your major. Like I said, engineering or maybe agriculture, or likewise, be very be very careful when you're going to apply. So Likewise, if you all contact us, we can give you the exact point. Like if you all are basically, let's say if you are looking at an agriculture program or agriculture masters, we will be giving you which location is much better for you to settle in and you can continue for working. Because let's say if you go to Berlin, you can't get an agriculture job because that's a city. If you go for Frankfurt, that's the agricultural area, which is the countryside. So likewise, we can give you many options according to your budget, according to what you prefer, and according to your attitudes and lifestyles. Of course, those two matters as well. So yes, so I think I pretty much covered the points. If you need any advice on these countries, you can always contact us. Apart from Germany, Sweden, Finland, we have other countries as well, but I actually didn't include them because this will drag until 11 or 12 a.m., which I don't want that to happen. So these countries are there, but if you are looking at Switzerland or Denmark or any other country, if we do, let us know. So we will be more than happy to help you with the procedure. So yes, so moving forward, we have the last country, which you all might not expect. So that would be India. So I'll be handing over the presentation to Nawab. You can carry it on, Nawab.
Hi, thank you, Anna. So basically, it's also very similar to, it's not similar to any other destination. Of course, India as a study destination has always been a bit peculiar to all of us, but of course, this country give you a brief and very short oversight of what you have to do and what you have to do. Of course, in this country, you would not be requiring ALTS as well. You would only need, example, if you are going to something, you would have to show other forms of English language requirement, such as MOI, also known as medium of instruction. Right. So, of course, there are some very interesting points where most students would like to discuss with us. Of course, like for example, now of course there's no show money at all. So when we are coming to this there's no money for students. Now, if I to take one country in particular, which we are one university in particular, which we are doing, yeah. I know is it?
You are kind of breaking, Nawab.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Now am I clear?
Yes, Nawab.
Okay. So basically, what it means is that when it comes to show funds, we have to show money for other countries such as UK and Australia. But in the case of India, we do not have any show funds required. And so I'll be taking a university for this example. So one of the very exclusive universities we are working with is called Christ University, located in Bangalore, right? So the application fee is around $100, right? And when you go for this university, the entire tuition fee, opportunities during and also, I mean, mainly it's not, there's no called part-time work opportunities during your studies. And as a student, you're entirely dedicated in your life, dedicating your life to finishing your student and finishing your studies. And if you have, if you're an undergraduate student, you have to be at least up to the age of 25, and postgraduate students, it goes case by case. Of course, by the standard of Christ University, there are plenty of accommodation options available for the boys separate and girls separate as well. And of course, since most of you might be concerned, it is of course UGC recognized. And if any of you are wondering the code and all the stuff, you will reach out to us. We can share you relevant links. And so maybe that's around it. If I am to also put another point, it is of course a very, very affordable option compared to the countries that we have discussed earlier. We are having an event on the June And we'll also explain about that as well. If any of you are interested, you can always reach out to us through the hotline 074 and we're always more than happy to welcome you with open arms, and then you can discuss it with the relevant representatives from the university. Of course, when we have university representatives from other countries as well, such as Canada, UK, Australia, and Dubai, can also keep us in touch, and then we can always share the relevant representatives day of their arrival. Then you and I, we can have a chat. We can have a chat with the university, and we can discuss about your future plans with migrating to another country for your international education. I hope I have covered all the facts and details that are relevant to the study destination of India. Just to recap, there is no PSW, there's no work hours. Of course, this is a much more affordable options than the ones we have previously mentioned. And we are exclusively working with Christ University, which is located in Bangalore. If you have any, you can always reach out to me right now, or once we are done with the presentation, you can always contact us through the hotline. And of course, we'll be having a Q&A session where you're always welcome to ask any questions in terms. Right. I hope I have covered any points. Dana, over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Nawab. Okay, without any delay, now I would like to open the floor for the questions. So if you all are having any questions, you can ask now.
Dhananjani, can I just add a few more points to what you all have spoken to? See, when you take Moratuwa, right, University of Moratuwa, about 50% of the students get a first class, right? Going by the stats. So, I mean, cream of Sri Lanka goes to Moratuwa. So, the thing is, please remember there are special. Now, we spoke about general situation, right? So, if depending on what kind of research you have done, you have a first class, there could be up to 100% scholarships. What we spoke about is very generic for anybody. But when you take a student where you maintain a very high GPA, you have done fantastic research areas, please come and talk to us. See, there are few ways in which you can study free. One is you become a lecturer, then the government will pay for your masters. If you have a first class, you can do your masters and your PhD together, right? Sometimes even skipping your masters, you can directly go to a PhD depending on the if you have a first class. So those who are from Katubeda or Moruto University, what you all have to remember is depending on your GPA and the area of study, there could be very specific. Let's say, for example, UK, we should be able to arrange 100% scholarship, right? For master's level. For example, the university which we very closely work with, UW Bristol has a President's Award, which is a 100% scholarship. Am I right in saying that, Dhananjani? Yeah, for master's level.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So depending on your even Australia, right? When we talk about scholarships, it could be your tuition fee, it could be your living cost also be paid by the university. You could be getting research funding, stipend. So there's a lot of money involved, right? Where you may not spend money. So it all depends on your qualifications. So talk to us. We will be more than happy to guide you through. From us, we don't charge any money. We will look at what is the best possible scholarship we can arrange. We can talk to universities and see what kind of scholarship we can get for you, right? So that is something which I wanted to add. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, so guys, if you have any questions, your options, we'll give you around 5 minutes so that you all can quick in as well. So you all will be given around 5 minutes. You can ask, or rather, you can put in the chat box so we can answer.
Dhananjali, there's a question asking whether they can do PTE planning to go to Canada. May I take that, Dhananjali?
Sure, says you're the expert in Canada, you can go ahead.
Yeah, so if you're looking at Canada, there are two things. University can accept PTE, but for immigration, your visa, they need IELTS. They don't accept PTE, Duolingo, any of those. If you are looking to go to Canada, please don't do any other language qualification. Please sit for academic IELTS. That's the only one which is accepted in Canada. Hope I answered your question.
Okay, so as a question regarding, can you please tell me what are the opportunities in Japan? So actually, Sasindu, very sorry, we do not do Japan. So like I said, we do UK, USA, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and of Europe countries. We do not, unfortunately, do Japan. But if according to your qualification, just tell us the budget, whatever the requirement you want, we can always suggest you. Just because you come up with us and tell that you have this budget, we won't let you down like saying that you can't go, you can't do this and that. So according to your requirements, we will be suggesting you a very good country so that you can go and settle upon. Okay, I think 5 minutes passed. So, okay, so we can actually, yes, I think there's another question from Asini. Can we apply for postgraduate courses with pending results so that we can start the postgraduate course soon as our undergraduate course finishes? So, which country are you talking about, Asini? In general, I would say, Mr. Shanil, would you like to answer that question, sir? In general, she says.
Yeah. So most of the time when you ask, the university will ask for your degree certificate and the transcript. Very, very rarely they will give you an opportunity without having the final result sheets. Am I right? Dhananjani, if you all have any options, please discuss.
Yeah, so it's like this. So you can apply for postgraduate programs, but you should have the final result sheet at least. Even if you do, as you all are state university students, you all might not get the certificate anytime sooner. It might take ages for you to get. Then again, you can go with a confirmation letter from the university instead of the certificate. Plus, if you can get a transcript, it can be unofficial transcript, but the result should be mentioned along with the unofficial transcripts or the final year's result sheets. We can go ahead for a conditional offer letter, which means we can check if you all are eligible for that particular program, so that you will be given offer letter, seat in the university, which acknowledges the university that you exist. And then upon that, they will be giving you with some conditions, for example, the official transcript and the other documents. So yes, Hasini, you can apply with pending transcripts and certificates only, but not with pending results, Hasini. Yeah. So I think I
Sorry,
answered you.
there's
So
another one asking for trans options. For UAE, yes, there are. Nawab, would you like to take it?
Yeah, sure. So, of course, more these universities are not most of these are international universities, right? So they are not local universities we are working with. Most of these are from UK and Australia, and some of them are also from Canada. So primarily we are working with the universities from UK who have branches in UAE. So technically they are in Dubai. So for example, if you all have completed your first year and second year of bachelor's in, for example, Middlesex University, Dubai, you are able to transfer for the final year in the country of UK. And similarly, there are transfer options for Australian universities as well. So you all can finish the said program, maybe two-thirds of the program. So technically the first year and the second year in UAE, Dubai, and then you can transfer to the original destination, which may be UK or Australia. So these are all a very simple cases where most of the students do ask these questions a lot. They do want to finally land in UK, at least save up some of their first year living cost and second year living cost so that they can spend only just 1 year of their tuition deposit and 1 year of their living cost. So they're saving 2 years of their living cost and tuition cost, which they might incur if not they had gone to Dubai. So I hope that answers the question. And of course, if you're having more costs, you can still go via the visa process, which will be guided through the university as well. And always you can come back to us and we will give you the guidance as well. Hope I answered the question.
Yeah, and also just to add on, if you're looking at transferring from Sri Lanka to any other country, also yes, there are opportunities depending on your first year, second year results. Yes, there are transfer options available for you as well. That is also possible for you to complete your degree in another country. Yeah, that's possible.
Yes, I hope Asif, Nawab, and Mr. Shanil answered your question well. Okay, so guys, any more questions? Just raise your hand if you want to unmute yourself, if you want you all to unmute yourself and ask directly. So that will be much easier. Okay, so I think we can wrap it up. So thank you so much everyone for joining us today and considering AIA Study Abroad for your study abroad journey. So for more information, as you can see in the presentation, that's our hotline. You can always contact us to get started with the application, just like I said, and also all our counselors and as well as Mr. Danny, Mr. Shanil said, there are the intakes, procedures and everything differs. So you will have to apply early as possible, and also do contact us even if you're in the first year or maybe in the middle of your program. Do call us, so we can always guide you so that you can plan out your future along with the other plans. So yes, so we look forward in helping you to let your dreams take a flight. And also remember, the world is your classroom, and with AIA Study Abroad, possibilities are endless. So thank you so much, everyone. Good night. And I think I can pass the session to either Netsara or Vindu.
Thank you so much. With that, we have come to the conclusion of Limitless Horizon 3.0. Once again, a big shout out to Mr. Shanil, Mr. Dhananjani, Mr. Nawab, and Ms. Riska for being here today with us and sharing your insights and your expertise because it's much needed, because most of us don't have a particular idea about what opportunities do we have there and how do we navigate to find our way through the Limitless Horizon. So we wish all the very best to our attendees. With that, we have come to the conclusion of this year's Limitless Horizon 3.0, and we are looking forward for another year, and we'll be meeting you once again with Limitless Horizon 4.0. Thank you very much and have a nice evening.